Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. It's August 7th, 2014. I'm Logan Burgess. From right here is Cody Bills. We had grains trading relatively lower in Chicago, down 3 3/4 for September corn, and new crop corn off 3 cents. We found a little bit of strength looking at the September soybean contract, up 2 3/4. November, though, continued lower, down 2 cents. Chicago wheat off 6.5 cents, giving back most of the gains from yesterday. And we had the December Chicago wheat contract down 7 3/4. Starting off the trade day today, we did have a reportable sale out from the USDA, 113,000 metric tons of U.S. soybeans for $14.15 going to unknown destinations. That didn't really seem to help the November contract. Additionally, this morning we did get the export sales report out, Cody. What did we get in that report from the USDA?
Well, when you look at the old crop sales here, really, we came in, we kind of missed analyst expectations to the low side. We actually saw wheat export sales for old crop about 26% below where we saw them last week. For corn, we were 30% below where we saw them last week. For soybeans, we were only 50% of the sales that we saw last week. Though for soybeans is a different story here. We are ahead of pace already. We've already booked more sales than the USDA expected really in the July report here. So we're well ahead of pace here for soybeans.
Yeah, you know, Cody, as we're looking at these export figures, we do have a USDA report next Tuesday. A lot of the focus in that report is going to be on the new crop, but we are going to get some changes most likely to the old crop balance sheet as well. Given today's sales and kind of what we've been seeing here over the month of July, do you anticipate the USDA making any changes to their export sale projection for corn or beans?
Well, for corn, I don't think so. You really, I mean, we're about 29 million bushels ahead of pace, but really when you look at the line of ahead of pace here, we've been declining and moving right toward on par with what the USDA is forecasting here. So with only 4 weeks left, I suspect that we're probably going to come out right around where the USDA is currently forecasting. With soybeans, it's a different story here. We're about 62 million bushels ahead of pace to meet USDA forecasts. We continue to see positive sales week in and week out. We haven't seen any cancellations. We're going to have to see some bigger cancellations here in the next 4 weeks for us to move down to where the current USDA is. I wouldn't be surprised if the USDA actually bumps up export sales here in the next report.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said in that report, a lot of focus is going to be here on the new crop. It's been a little bit of a volatile month here for the grains since the last USDA report. Corn and beans both look like they're trying to find a bottom. And this report is really going to dictate price action here for the remainder of August and could be very influential as we move through harvest in general. This is going to be the first yield number that we get from the USDA that's based on actual surveys. And as you can see here from this table, we had a poll out today from Reuters. And on average, analysts are expecting 5 bushels per acre added to the corn yield from what we saw in July. As a result, production up quite a bit. Really about 400 million bushels expected added to U.S. production. What is that going to do to ending stocks? Well, you can see the average analyst is looking for a 2 billion plus bushel carryout here from the USDA on Tuesday. If we turn our attention to soybeans, a relatively more quiet report is expected. Yield numbers barely changed. Production really similar to what we saw in July, and just 1 million bushel taken off ending stocks. Certainly seems like the trade is looking for some demand side numbers to pick up maybe a slightly larger production when we're looking at soybeans there.
Oh, with so much focus really on yield here, which yield, corn or soybeans, or which part of the reports here do you think the biggest surprises we could find?
It seems like the corn yield number could provide the most volatility. If you look at estimates out from Reuters today, basically they break down where each private firm is in terms of their individual guess. And I mean, you look at yield numbers here that vary from 165 on the low end to 175 on the high end. Obviously, that would be massive, or that is massive in terms of production. So I think that's where the fireworks could be. It seems like in a lot of traders' minds right now, this corn crop is for the most part made as we had very good conditions during pollination. So now the USDA is in a position where they may feel more confident bumping that yield number up quite a bit. In my own opinion, I think that we may see a number 170, maybe 171 from the USDA next Tuesday. If you look at the guesses out from soybeans, as I said a little bit ago, relatively conservative report is expected by the trade, and that kind of seems to reflect sentiment right now in the market that there's still a lot of unknowns about this soybean crop. obviously as the USDA is looking over things, they may want to see how the balance of August pans out here before aggressively bumping the yield number higher. So to answer your question, Cody, I guess I'd be looking at that yield number for corn. If we look at the old crop, though, I think, as you said, that soybean export sale number could have a lot of attention. If we remember in the July report, we actually saw a negative residual use number from the USDA. So, in a lot of traders' minds, there's some magic math going on there by the USDA. That could be another area to watch in Tuesday's report.
Yeah, that sounds fair enough. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning into today's show. Just remember that next Tuesday is when these reports are coming out. And so it makes sense if you don't have live quotes, go ahead and take a demo at grainhedge.com. Put your name in there. You'll be able to view live quotes on your mobile device or on your desktop at home. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Make sure you give us a call if you have any questions. The number is 877-472-4607. We'll see you here Friday for the weekly wrap-up.